for specifically sending
Yep,
it to
yeah,
you guys.
yeah,
But there will hopefully be some other discussion, and maybe some other people that have already done it, are doing it as a class, they have some other things, because there's no one way to do anything.
I believe he was, but I mean, you can obviously start.
I'll give it a minute. This isn't gonna take the full time anyway, then I'll give it a minute and also make sure there's not somebody else still coming in. Well, I guess we'll go ahead and get started. Maybe get us out of here a little early too. So I'm with Laverne Schools. We've had esports as a class for about, well, first year was after school only, and then so probably since around 2023, we started off having a class period for esports. And I know more and more are doing it. Is there anybody in here that already has esports as a class period, or is it just something that's coming up new for you guys?
It's something that's this year.
It's something for this year? Okay. And I know some of you guys are new. And then Blackwell, they had a teacher that was doing it, and now you're taking over the class, so you're new, but the school's not new to it. But so to me, the very first step is to determine your purpose. Like, what are your goals? What are you hoping to achieve? And then that class structure will follow your vision. So a lot, I would say 80 to 90% of the schools are treating the esports class like every other traditional sport. Like, we're coming in and we're practicing, and so if that is your goal, and then your structure would just kind of follow along those lines. Then you can also do the career tech type mindset and train and develop those students for possible career pathways. Or you can do the blended structure of both. And I'm going to talk mostly about the blended structure for both. But if you are just going to utilize your class as practice time like other sports, that's fine, but it should be more organized, which is productive. Because if you have kids coming in, and I heard somebody say in one of the other sessions, like if they're competing on the Overwatch team, but they're playing Roblox, well, the thing is it needs to have some structure and organization to it. How are they practicing? What are they working on specifically? Then the blended practice and esports CTE adds learning to the class environment. It fosters career pathways beyond just competition. It allows time of organized practice, but includes time of academic benefits and structured learning. So this was my course syllabus from 2024 to 25. It's changed a little bit since then, but I also didn't know I was going to be presenting before 2 nights ago. This was in here from a previous session I did, but it's basically the same. There's just a few different changes, but if you wanted to kind of see an example, then I just wanted to go ahead and leave that one in there, just so you can kind of see what all we talked about and do. So I'll just do the course description. Provides an introduction to esports. This course will cover varying aspects of the esports industry. Students interested in broadcasting, production, or graphic logo design will have opportunities to utilize those skills for esports. The esports industry encompasses event management and hospitality, and Laverne Schools will be hosting events which allows all esports students to get hands-on experience putting on an esports event. Students will gain experience setting up gaming PCs and consoles, plus basic hardware, software, and network troubleshooting. Students will also use class time towards practicing for competitions while gaining a deeper insight into the esports ecosystem and varying game types. We will also incorporate fitness and exercise into our program, which we done in the classroom, elementary gym, or outside occasionally. Course objectives kind of reflect the description there, just basic understanding of these different pathways and the basics of live streaming and broadcasting and video and photo editing, and the importance of nutrition, exercise habits, and self-care, knowing basic PCs, parts and how they function, and understanding basic PC and network troubleshooting. And I talked about in the roundtable a little bit yesterday about how my esports class is the same hour as my athletics hour. So I don't have my entire team, but I also have kids in my class that are not on my competition team. And so finding things out from them, like, okay, you like video games, but you don't want to compete, but tell me some other things that you do like. It may be photography, it may be, so if you are interested in photography, I can use you. If you're interested in apparel design, I can use you because you can help me design jerseys. For hosting a special event, you can help me design t-shirts and for that. If you're into graphic design and logo creation and stuff like that, I can use you because when we have these special events, I can use you for that. You can help me with logo designs and stuff as well. Not only just at the Laverne Schools level, but statewide with the OKSE, or we're a part of national organization, Interstate Scholastic Esports Alliance, so on a national level. And so we can get, when you do things that, and it's not just Laverne, it'd be any school. If you have a kid that's into that and really good at it, share that, and then we can give them a bigger audience, because I feel like students perform better and give more effort into things whenever it's not just handing something into a teacher and that's the only person that's gonna look at it. Whenever you give them a bigger audience, they're gonna give you bigger effort. So I think that's really important to provide opportunities on a bigger scale for them to see what they can really do and what they're capable of. So this is what we do as when we're talking about the blended, this is kind of like an estimated weekly schedule, what that could look like. So Monday could be your VOD review team strategies and identify goals for the week. Okay, so, we had our competition on Saturday. Let's, if we have our Overwatch team here or whatever it may be, let's go review our film from that. What do we need to work on? Where were we struggling? So you can identify some of those things. Okay, this map, we really struggled with it. So our goals for this week might be, we need to really work on that map and have better map awareness on that. Tuesday, Tech Tuesday. So, one Tuesday you might focus in on, we're gonna take a PC apart, go over what are all the different components and how does that tie in and what do they do within the computer, or networking, go over what is an IP address and how important is it, and so you can do some IT stuff, troubleshooting. Okay, this isn't working. What are some steps we should do to get this fixed and resolved? You can also utilize them on a district level. And I have Parker back here as one of my students that just graduated, and he's been heavily involved in all of this. So I have sent him to classrooms. He's my first layer of support now. And so, hey, go to Mrs. So-and-so's classroom. She's saying her smartboard's not working. Why don't you go investigate and see what's wrong, make sure everything's plugged in and things like that. And then if you need help, report back to me and I can tell you something else to try. So, utilizing those students, again, a bigger audience, real life scenarios. They're gonna learn more from things than, again, just here's what you're telling me to do, and I'm gonna turn it into you. You may grade it, you may just throw it in the trash, and they know that. And so I feel like, again, if you give them real life application, you know what, you're asking me to do this task, and if I do it, there's gonna be the whole town's gonna see it, or the whole state's gonna see it. Again, I feel like those things have bigger meaning to them, and they're gonna give you more effort. Again, making patch cables, maybe you want to show them how to, make an Ethernet cords. Canva, again, photo and video editing stuff there. Broadcasting and streaming using OBS or whatever, maybe it's vMix or whatever you want to use. Give them the basics. Let them know how to add different sources and make different overlays and things like that. It's great skills, to use and have. So then, you kind of get to, okay, well, we identified these goals. We need to kind of have some practice days to implement what some of our goals were. And, maybe on Monday, we reviewed some YouTube videos on addressing those strategies. And now we need to actually apply some of those and see how they work within our team. So you can have a couple of days still to get that team practices in, so within that blended structure. And then Friday, maybe you want to have a fun fitness Friday. You can go outside and it's a nice day. Let's go. We have a pickleball court right across the street from our youth sports arena. So, maybe we want to go play pickleball, or we also have the town park right there at the end of right next to the door to us. And, maybe we just want to go walk around the park. You can kind of do something there. Maybe that's also a day that you want to bring in some guests. We've had, OU come to us. My wife happens to be a therapist, so we've had her come in and talk to us. Or maybe you want some specific trainer to come in you know what, we're really struggling with communication, so maybe you want to have some extra communication drills or a trainer come in that specializes in, communication and teamwork, and so they can do some stuff with your team. So Friday seems to be a kind of a good day for that. For us, being so far away, it's a kind of a good maybe travel day because they're a little more available to come up on a Friday as opposed to in the middle of the week. So kind of breaking down what I talked about on each of those days. So Monday VOD review, we pull up some maps and go over it, like I said, some map awareness, and also during when we're reviewing and reflecting from our matches, I could not stand when we're in a match, when you can't have a guy what are you thinking? I always have to say no, move on, let's focus on what we're doing next, not what just happened, because it's not productive in a match. But when you're in the review and reflection time, now is the time to, for your team leaders to say, and what were you thinking here? What was your thought process? And why that was a choice? Or maybe next time you have that situation, this is what we need to do because this is a better solution. And again, best players to help train, because I don't know every single game. I'm the first to admit I'm not a game expert on all of the games, but I have players who know a little bit more, and I have sent VOD reviews to. We have 12 colleges who are partnered with us, and they have players on those teams. If I can reach out to the colleges, and they're in our Discord, reach out to them, send them a message. Hey, we just had this, Overwatch. I use that as an example a lot because we got the most help in Overwatch. But we had this Overwatch match. Can I send you the game code and you review the film? And they'll watch it and record us a video and with all their commentary as it's going on with different things and your positioning here. What we need to do correct work on. So. Huge help, and people will help you, but you also usually have one player on your team that has the most knowledge within that game, and so they can share with their teammates, things like that too, about positioning, map awareness. But it's very important, I think, that you provide time for this to take place anyway. So again, identify goals, team and an individual. So maybe the team, character roles, anything, rotations. They need to work better on a team level, and it could be on an individual. So even any player within the team needs to identify a goal to work on, and then the team as a whole needs to identify a goal to work on. Again, the Tuesday, Tech Tuesday, I talked about all this. Let those students be the first level of support tickets, and all the different PC components, and also what you're doing there is, as they know and understand all the different IT knowledge and understanding, you're preparing them for different IT certification pathways. We were awarded the OETC grant, so we got $40,000, and for me, instead of spending it on esports PCs and stuff like that, at the time we spent all of our money towards things for laser engraving, t-shirt. We have heat press and different computers to control that. We got the vinyl cutter, and we got some production equipment stuff. So we spent it all on that to build up the entire program, because I don't know how many were in the session earlier with ECU, but he said 1.6% of college football players go on to play professional football, and that he said on the esports level, 1% of your college esports kids, 1 out of 100 might go pro as well. It's very low percentage, and the more skills and career pathways, and for K-12, the college pathways you can give them an experience. It just gives those students more to take with them, because the probability of a high school player in esports going pro is just as low as it is for your high school football player to go pro. It's a very low percentage. So podcasting, videography, maybe you do some coach or player interviews and shows, school announcement videos, telling stories, sharing hobbies, fostering creativity. And it doesn't have to be just within esports. We've had students go, do stuff for the entire school. We every once a week we release a video on our school YouTube channel, and it was addressing different things that were taking place around the school. I know one there was 10 things to not do in the hallway or whatever, and so they were being fun, but everybody enjoyed what was going on with it, and look forward to those being released. And again, that didn't just go out in the school. We posted it on it was on our YouTube channel, shared out through our school social media, and so the whole community was like. So what happened on that was, and at first we were just using an iPad going around and filming all of this, and I didn't always pick up the audio very well. We had 3 people that worked at our local bank all get money together, and they purchased us some nice DJI wireless mics, and then we got to use those. When that all just started because we wanted to do something else, and started recording videos, and the community really enjoyed watching those, and so then they contributed, and you know what, we can use those within esports and different other things as well, not just for those school videos. Broadcasting and streaming. So there's Parker back there in a couple of these pictures. We started off doing that there at the school, and then Parker got to expand that and do that on the OKSE level, and anytime we hosted different things. So then it expanded into, well, we can do it for esports. Well, so now we're doing it for band concerts and different other school activities as well. So the band's putting on a program, and the Laverne esports team is live streaming it for us. And so again, that gets more buy-in, not only from admin, but community buy-in. Well, they're not only just doing stuff in the esports realm, but they're supporting all of our other school activities. You know what? When we need a new camera, which I'm about to ask for, you know what? They do this for all these other programs. Then the camera's not coming out of my esports money. It's going to probably come from a district, or another band program or something might want to. They live stream all of our concerts. And we have some money in our account. Let's help them out. So that could lead to a number of things. Or again, somebody in the community, the bank might want to buy that $1,000 camera because we live stream all this other stuff for the parents in the community. So, but and on top of that, again, Parker getting to take that on to the next level, going to Indiana Tech University for broadcasting because of those experiences that we started off with. Parents might want to watch this, so let's just let's start streaming and figuring it out. So then again, Wednesday and Thursday practices. This is kind of, it all depends. We only have about 45-minute class period. So when we come in, do some stretches and quick cardio, then you can do some warm-ups in game, or aim labs is another good one, just to kind of get your mind and everything moving. And then practice time. Well, you're practicing, but you're not just, it's not about just getting in the game and getting some game time in that game. You're practicing with a purpose. You need to go back to what are your goals you're working on. It's not about winning a quick play match. It's about, okay, I might lose this quick play match, but you know what? I needed to really work on this character, or I really needed to work on that map. And so who cares if you win or lose it? You're trying different techniques. Like I said, you might have looked at a YouTube video on some different methods or rotations or stuff. Go try those now and see if it works for you guys. So you're practicing with a purpose. It doesn't matter if you win or lose on those matches. And then into school, if you needed to go home, go home. But if you wanted to stick around after school, take a break, go to the bathroom, get a drink, and then it's a never-ending cycle there. So then go back around and do that whole thing again if you can stay after school. So stretches, cardio. This was before we had our arena area totally done. We went over right next door is the elementary gym, and so we would go over there sometimes. So again, mechanical and in-game warm-ups. You can go to AIM labs if you want to work on tracking and aim. And then I know at one point we attended a training session, and he even had them just get in Microsoft Paint and you're basically making a cross, tracking your mouse and trying to make and see how smooth or how off crazy the T is. So just getting your mouse and hands and wrist all working together there. And then you can warm up in specific game. Maybe you're going into a range like in Halo or something like that, or practicing against some bots and stuff. Get into it if you're Rocket League. Just go out there and work on some different mechanical and types of shots and stuff. Again, practice what was identified as goals for the week. Not about winning. It's about did you improve as an individual or as a team. And you practice and you're defining what other adjustments you need to make in your goals. Friday, again, we talked about all these, so this kind of goes in depth. So teamwork communication drills. You can do different back-to-back drills, like we've done this several times. Get back-to-back, and then one person's telling a story for a couple of minutes, and then when that ends, the person that had their back to you needs to be able to recite what story you shared, and how the person that told the story grades them on how much information they were able to recite. How, did they remember everything, or was it kind of this very watered down version? Blindfold course, you can do, have one person kind of telling the others how to, avoid obstacles, whether it's like little cones or whatnot. One thing that I've got now is I got a piece of rope, and we're gonna tie it off and have one person, I'm gonna tell them what shape I want the team to make out of this big long rope. And so everybody's gonna grab a piece of the rope and they're gonna try to direct them, okay, I want you to have them make a triangle. And then, so she's gotta tell, so-and-so, you need to step this way, and this one needs to, go that way. So see if they can get them to make the shape. So that I thought that was a good one that I saw done. So there's a lot of different drills. You look them up just for teamwork and communication drills. And then we created code words for gameplay. Some, OU actually helped us with that at one point, and it worked with us because when you're in person at a state championship, if I'm telling, we got your players talking, and if they're saying, go to A or rotate to, a certain point in the map, if you're saying all of that, like they know they're going to hear that, might know where you're going and stuff. So we created code words. So we would say grape, and that meant change pace or something like that. So or push. So we would create our own language so that if we were ever in person at state, they wouldn't know what we meant when we said what we wanted to do. So this was one of the times. That's my wife. She's a therapist, and so she would come in and she would work with them on dealing with adversity and how to win and lose with class, handle defeat, self-control. These kids, they used to be playing at home and rage and can't do that. Here's some ways you can calm down and reframe your thoughts and maintain self-control there. And then physical trainer, we brought in the lady that a few different times she's come. She owns a fitness center there in our town, and she'd come out and work with them. And then we took the kids and talked about what was important with fitness and how it can be important within esports. And so we made our own stuff here that ways that they could have healthier bodies and lifestyles and some fitness goals. And then trainings, that was one of the best Smash players in the state that was here, came and did a training with some Smash kids. Brandon was with OU Esports, and then at this point he was already back in San Antonio, and he hopped on a training session with my Halo team. Thumper, I talked about the Hall of Fame. He came out and did a training, not just with a specific team, but my entire team. And then he was coming to Laverne for that. And so I reached out to some other schools in our area and said, hey, OU's coming up to do esports training and help our team. If you want to come over and participate with us. And so we had Diamond, and I think at that time Winoka was there, just a few other schools in our area. Since he was coming all the way up there, we want to make sure he got to impact more than just Laverne. And then, you're offering this class, you're, working with these students on all these different areas, and, we did a project, a student-run event, and I had 3 students go with me to Norman at the ILI conference with the K20 Center there, and they wanted to. K20 Center wanted to run a esports tournament there, so our guys, 3 of them there, ran Mario Kart for elementary kids. So they ran a esports event, and then we sat on a panel. They sat on a panel with me, and there was a session there that all the different teachers and principals and whoever was in attendance at the conference during the session got to do ask the student panel questions and stuff about esports, and so they participated in that after the tournament was over. And then, if there was anybody in here that has already been running esports as a class, I kind of had a time here where they could share what they were doing, if they're doing anything differently, and then allow time for questions and answers, and discussion time. So,
Okay, I have a question.
Okay.
Because I'm not really focusing on the high school this year.
Right.
How much of this do you think I can let the middle schoolers run with, as far as like the tech Tuesdays?
I think they can definitely still be able to handle it. What, your middle school all the way up through 8th grade?
Yeah, sixth grade.
Yeah. I think with any grade, you can show them, go over the different components of the PCs, and take apart. Like, I'm sure I'm an IT guy too. There's a closet somewhere with old computers in it.
How do you know about the closet?
Well, we just put 850 Chromebooks on a pallet that we're going to get rid of. So,
Yeah. So those, some of those Chromebooks.
Yeah.
Take 20 of them, or however many kids you might have in your class. Let them all take a screen out. Replace the keyboard. The most basic things, or hey, take out the battery and put in a new battery or something, you know.
Wait, I can have them.
So that's what that's what I did is, you know, then they're my first layer of tech support. Hey, we got another broken screen. Can you go replace the screen?
My SLA is gonna look so good.
And why not? Because it helps you. You're a one-man IT department. I am. Well, now I can have a student do the, you know, hey, replace the screen or replace the keyboard for me. I don't know if you were in here at this point, but I would send Parker, hey, you know, this so-and-so smartboard's not working. Can you go see what's going on with it? Make sure the cables are plugged in or you know, the HDMI port's plugged in, whatever it may be. Maybe it came loose from her docking station or whatever. Let him do that. And then, you know, he comes back and is like, well, all the cables are plugged in and, you know, what do you think? You know, well, you know, maybe we need to actually fully shut down the smart board and let it reboot. And, you know, try some different things. Let them, and then they see what works. And then the next time when you need them to go check on other teachers, they already know the steps.
To get that knowledge base. Yeah.
Yes, yeah. Utilize, because you're helping yourself and you're helping the student learn a new skill. And, you know, and then you can get into IT certification pathways as they keep expanding that knowledge. But junior high, yes, like I said, let them take apart things. You have a scrap pile, they're not gonna hurt it. So, but you can like, okay, here's the little Wi-Fi adapters. This so that if you have one that's not able to get on Wi-Fi, we can take one of these cards and put it in, you know, from the spare pile and put it in one that's not working and see if it fixes it. You know, different things like that. I highly recommend it. You know. Anybody else have any questions, or if you're doing something where you have some other insights that maybe I'm not doing, but I might like it.
I have a question.
Yeah.
As far as, so I don't have an account. You know, so that's something that obviously will. Oh, yeah. I was wondering, where do you get the money? How do you get the funds to, and obviously we just listened to ECU talking about sponsorships.
Right, yeah.
I don't know, that's probably more.
So are you talking more about like PCs for the esports arena, or are you talking?
Yeah, more like PCs and then just, jerseys, you know.
Okay, so jerseys, I talked to my internet service provider, Panhandle Telephone, PTCI up there, and built that connection. And then I asked them, I said, we really need some jerseys, and they're like, how much would they cost? And so I'd done all the homework, so I had that information. I was like, here's what they cost. I would be more than happy to put your PTCI logo on it, and they sent me a check, and they took care of it. They bought so what we did is, because I gave the students an option, like, you can pay for your own jersey if you want your name on it, but PTCI is going to donate a jersey for enough for it to cover everybody. And for those, if the ones they're paying for, instead of your name, it's going to just say Laverne. So the ones that have Laverne on the back, I keep at the end of the school year. And so I've used those same jerseys for, I don't know, 3-4 years now.
Yeah.
And so, but they were all paid for one time by PTCI. So it's got their logo on it, and it just says Laverne. It's a generic jersey, and I reissue them out to the new players. But if they wanted one with their name on it, they paid the $40 and they could have one.
As far as, so we don't have any computers, you know, so that's what I want to try to get into. We have 3 switches,
Yeah.
and one doesn't work.
Right.
So, but when they first started this a few years ago, it was just, you know, they did plenty of versus and the kids want to play all these other games.
Right.
And so I want to respect that. I don't know. The school's gonna pay.
Right. So we got lucky, good timing at Laverne. So we started off with, when we started our program, we had no money. And so I just started to have, at first, having students bring their own consoles or computers from home because they play the game. Just bring your stuff. I went into Facebook Marketplace and got some TVs and got us by. And then, we were still coming off of COVID. So we ended up having some COVID funds there towards the end. What can we spend that on? And superintendent, at that point, because we were at that point it was our second year of esports, and already seen the benefit. We had kids going, some get scholarships to go to college for it, and we had qualified for state championships. We were at the state tournament anyway, and so she saw the benefit already because the students were already doing better. Exactly what Cody said. Like whenever I have graphics and I share it out on our social media. I have our GPA. We have over the last 5 years of Laverne esports, we have a 3.714 GPA average out over a 5-year period. So when I have it as a bar graph over the last 5 years, you see the steady increase of our team GPA growing every year. I share this with all of our school staff there. When I need a group of players to go miss a day of class instruction, I have stricter guidelines for my students missing class instruction. Every other school activity we have, it's just the basic, ineligible list, Mine is stricter. I say, and I send this in our email out to the high school staff, okay, we got a smash tournament out, here's the kids that will miss class. If any of these students, I always put this in my email, if any of these students do not have at least a C in every single class, I do not want them missing class time. Because if they have a D, yeah, they're eligible to participate, but they're obviously struggling. They don't need to miss. So when they see all of this stuff and they see the GPAs going up, because now when Joe is going to miss Smash event, he loves Smash, and he can't go because he has a D. Well, guess what? Joe goes and does. He's going to get that grade up to at least a C, which means his GPA is going to go up. And so I think over time that just kept building and building. So whenever your admin are seeing, and I'm posting, Cody said, I'm sure to share that out, because look at what we're doing here. So now when I need to go to my admin, hey, we really need, 3 computers. Well, they see the success, they see students going to, getting scholarships and stuff, and they're more willing to. It is a process to get to that point. I agree. Now, if you're doing some of these other things in your esports program, if you have this as a class and you're showing them we're going to be doing 3D printing, we're going to dive into coding, we're going to do this or that, you can utilize those same computers for esports also in the coding and the 3D printing and stuff. Well, now you've opened your door more to other STEM grants that you might be able to get that aren't just, we're going to use these for esports, but you may get more grant opportunities whenever we're multi-purposing computers for other things. Yeah. Grants is the best way if you can find them.
So I'm gonna push my admin to try to get, because my superintendent is our IT guy.
Yeah, okay.
And the buy-in's not, it's just.
Yeah,
money.
money.
So let's see.
I highly recommend the OETT grant. I know that
It is the best way to go.
It is the best way.
Really.
So
First they go to training, and
Yeah.
it's cheap for them to go, and they come back with an iPad. So
they get a free iPad just to
Yeah,
go to
so
the
they
training.
got something, but your administrator's gotta go
Yes.
before you can apply for it.
Right.
Gotcha.
You gotta
But
have
here's
their
the
buy-in.
thing, if you have a elementary, a middle school, and a high school, that's 3 sites, plus the superintendent, there's 4. So you could potentially 40,000 for for each of them.
We have a middle school, high school principal, we don't have it. Well, I mean, they can still go. if it's-
So the superintendent can apply for a district, and then the high school principal can apply for the high school, and the elementary can apply for the elementary. So 40, 40, 40. And you don't have to use it all for esports. You can tell, you know what, we need new interactive boards for each of our classrooms, but we also will have, we'll have $20,000 or whatever of that money that we can put into filling up our esports arena with PCs.
And he's right, they give away 20 grants, 20 to 25 grants a year, of $40,000 of equipment, plus $25,000 of training.
And that's like, if you've won it recently, you probably are gonna get it back, certainly.
So I think there is once you get it,
Yeah,
like
there's-
there's a waiting period before
Yeah.
you can get another one. But like it's not based on it's the school. So like I said, you can have all your principals. Like the elementary is its own school, the high school is its own school. So year one, you could have the high school principal do it and get a $40,000 grant. The very next year, the superintendent can do a district grant and get another $40,000. Or if they all do it at the same time, Hayworth, the year that I got awarded, they got 2 or 3 of them.
Yeah, they've stopped that.
They have
Yeah,
stopped
they
that.
stopped
Okay, so
that.
that's new.
I got
Because
the
I'm
I was the
about.
last one that got the 2 in the same
Okay.
one. Elementary got one, and then we got
But
one.
you could do it
Yeah.
consecutive years
Yeah,
like
and
that.
then that's what we've started doing is we got a
So,
pattern.
you can
rolling.
get your superintendent to do a $40,000 district one, and then the next year, let the high school principal do it, and then, stagger it out like that. But just one is huge, just getting one of those
For a
40,000.
small school like that's one.
Right. So, to me, and they are amazing to work with. K-20 Center does a great job.
I don't know why, is it, admin not know about this, or, I guess there's so many things out there that just.
It does require them to go to that training, so it takes time.
So that-
It's like, because I actually got to go with
Yeah.
my superintendent. They were like, well, it's only for admins, and I'm not an admin, so, but my superintendent wanted me to go because she knew I was gonna be filling out the grant.
Yeah.
And so she paid the $1,000, because for a non-admin to go, they had to pay a significant amount. She paid the $1,000 for me to go, or whatever it was, I can't remember the exact amount, to go through the training with her. And so I got to sit in on all that, but I think it was like, we went for 2 weeks, and then we came back for a week or 2, and then we went back for another week, I think it was. Anyway.
So it's not just a day training?
No, it's not a day training.
Oh, I see, okay, I see.
Yeah, so it takes time. It may have been a week and then a break and then a week.
Yeah, I don't remember what all.
I can't remember how long it was,
They may have
but
shortened it since COVID. There's
Yeah.
no telling what.
yeah,
it
because
is,
that was
but
like
it's-
that's 2022
Yeah,
or
it's
21.
worth it.
2021, I think is when I went through it. But it is worth it
Mhm.
because I'm investing a couple of weeks of my time, but if I'm getting $40,000 out of it, it's hard. So it's hard for all of your admin to go to the training together.
Yeah.
If you send one, even if you don't get the grant, once you've gone through the training, you can just keep her up. You don't have to go through the training again. So if your admin went from let's say your admin was at Laverne this year, or last year, and then now is at your school this year, they've already gone through the training. So at your school, they could apply for the grant because they've already been through it. But I would talk to them, see if they knew about it, and if they would do it. It's the best way to get money.
It's k20center.ou.edu,
Yeah.
and it's down there on the campus. I'm trying to see when that training is, but it's.
They do it a couple times a year. Ours was like in October. It was right before the ILI conference. Anyway,
Mhm.
it may have been September. I can't remember. That's how I got a bunch of our clip broadcasting and laser engraver, heat press, vinyl cutter, big old vinyl cutter. So we do window decals and different things. And I don't know. We got drones out of that. And lots of stuff.
I I thought they'd shortened it. They've shortened it down to 3 days.
3 days?
3 days. So it's a 2-day back-to-back and then a 1-day return date.
See that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. That,
Yeah. So
yeah,
it's
that's
like-
way better than, because it was like, I think it might have been a week, a break, and then another week. But if it's down to 3 days, that's,
Yeah, it's 3 days, and it's if you go on there, I mean, honestly, it's the best thing to go to. But it says there's still open spots for the September 16th and 17th group,
September, yeah.
the September 30th and October 1st group, and then the March 3rd and 4th. The March 3rd and 4th, though, it's past when their deadline is for the grant, so then you gotta wait another year.
Right.
So if you can get in one of those,
One of these in the fall, then
yeah,
you're,
then you're.
because it's like December.
Yep,
into
December, January, you
Yeah,
write the
that's when
grant.
the grant is due.
Get
Now,
the
it's a
money before the
6-page
year.
essay,
It's a bunch.
and so at the leadership training, they go over their ideals framework.
Mhm.
And so when you write the grant, you have to fit it within, like, all the wording that you use. It has to hit those trigger words, you know, within that ideals. It's an acronym. Don't ask me what it means, because I forgot, I've slept since then, and I tried to forget it.
Yeah, the rubrics, it's a clear rubric to write the grant,
Yeah.
so, I mean, you
And-
you can miss, I've written them and failed, but once you figure out how they're scoring, then it's pretty good. And-
I'm 1 for 1.
Yeah.
And I don't want to do it again,
Yeah.
really.
I'm 3 for 5, so but yeah, we've written them same way. Like we staffed them 1 year. We got the elementary and the middle school, and I turned around and wrote it for the district. So elementary needed Chromebooks and iPads. We got esports, and then we came back around and like you said. At that point, I moved from the middle school principal to the superintendent, so I was able to write it, and I wrote it for the exact same thing he did. So we had Cricut machines, screen printing, laser engravers with the glow forges, and it's all there. I mean, you'll never buy it otherwise. That's just it's the one thing that you're like, okay, if you're gonna dream big, you dream
Right.
big because you'll never get it otherwise. So you go as big as you can because you got really one good shot at it.
Yeah, right.
I appreciate that.
Yeah. That would be my number one suggestion if you're trying to find money for equipment, OETT grant.
And their PD is really good.
It is.
They're a great guy, very good people.
Yeah, so like when I did all of that equipment, so part of when you're awarded the grant, they come out to your school site every month for our PD sessions. And I was in a weird scenario because I think we may have been at the exact same time on that equipment, because they're like, well, really, this is kind of just what you're trying to use to teach with. And so they geared would do occasional PD with all of our staff, but a lot of it was just me. And they're like, we don't know how to use glow forges and the vinyl cutters and different things. So a lot of our PD time was just me and them, and we're sitting down and we're like just figuring out how to use the equipment. And then, but it built in time for me too, because when they would come out, my classes were covered, and so I wasn't trying to like juggle my class schedule and learning all of this. We're sitting down together and figuring it out, which now they know more about all that stuff after many schools have started doing the same thing, and so they would be able to streamline a lot of that PD on things like that. But great PD.
Yeah, Mike, I sent you the link if you want to pull it up. I just emailed it to you.
Well, I'm not on mine.
Okay, never mind.
This is somebody from Bixby's
Okay,
laptop,
all right.
and it's logged in. I had to share my presentation with
Okay, all right.
whoever Michelle Buchanan
Well, then you
is.
got an email from me. You got an email from me. You can just
Awesome.
ignore.
Yeah, whoever Michelle Buchanan is. And then I'm sharing this too. That's my cell phone number. There's my school email address. Feel free to contact me anytime, whether it's esports, whether it's IT, whether it's STEM or whatever.
Yeah. Okay. Going back to the grades thing, because that's what absolutely murdered high school whenever.
The grades thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
how do you motivate them to get their grades up?
That's a great question. You know, what we did, and so in my esports class time, if I had a kid who was not passing, you know, we had those couple of days there where we're not learning necessarily. We had practice days. They are not touching a game. They're on the nose board report. I asked my principal, hey, what classes are they failing in? Or what are, even if it's probation. 'Cause I wish I had access to their grades, because then I would have, also what I've even done is, hey, pull up your wind gauge grade book, and I want to see your grades. And so they would pull it up. I'd say, oh, well, no wonder you're ineligible. You have 3 zeros in your math class. So I make them bring their math book, and then they're not touching a game on that Wednesday, Thursday. They're sitting right here next to me and working on getting those 3 math assignments done and turned in. The only way you have to stay on them, motivating them. That's on them, but I make them, like, you're gonna sit right here next to me and you're working on math on those 2 practice days.
And that's in the class, like.
In that class.
Yep. 'Cause I think at high school, we tried the study hall with the high school kids,
Yeah.
and they found this cool trick of just not coming.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, that would be during my class time. They'd have to, or they're gonna be
You're
marked
stuck.
absent.
And see, I only teach middle school, so even at the high school level, I couldn't do that with them.
Yeah.
I have no real.
If you're not in there, then yeah, I don't know
Yeah. That's another reason why I've kind of just decided I'm gonna just really focus on middle school, because they're the ones I have.
I've never
No
tried to
power
do,
over.
like, I'm in this building over here and trying to hold a kid accountable when I'm in I don't know how you're gonna do that unless you have something you can take away from them.
Yeah, and that's what I figured. So we've talked about possibly trying to see if I can't find the other coach that will just do high school specifically, because I frankly just have no pull over them. Yeah, and they can ignore me all they want, and they don't really have any consequence for it. So
But if you're taking away their program and they're not participating, is that even, I mean,
Yeah.
at that point, is it even enough? If you're,
right.
I don't know.
Have any of you used Class Dojo, or any of you in Class Dojo schools? We used to
Our
get that.
elementary uses it.
We got it for the communication on our end, but I don't know about Dojo Point. It's been like 10 years since I looked at Dojo Points. Are they still used? Do they
Yeah.
work?
Yeah, they work the same. It just depends if it works for kids. We
Yeah.
use it. Me at middle school was doing it for a while. It seemed to work. But much like anything, eventually it doesn't work, so you kind of move on to the next trick. But it may work for a while to get started. Elementary uses it. And we were using it for communication as well, and then that positive reinforcement side of it.
Yeah, I mean, you could type if something like that in, like, hey, you guys, as a esports team, I'm not there, but if you guys are all making grades and you can attain certain amount of dojo points, you know what? We'll have a pizza party or something, because you guys are all passing. I don't find food is a pretty good motivator
Man,
for kids.
it's a, yeah.
Yeah, Parker's back there. Yeah. I mean,
It is, I have 2, or my kids, I have 2 boys that are in junior high, and so at home we have a calendar, and they're awarded stars for chores. And so, and then they have a gift shop on this calendar, and so they go in, and of course we have to prove whether they did this stuff or not. But we have, if you get 20 stars, you can get McDonald's.
oh yeah.
But we also have, like, if you get 35 stars, you get $20. They will never pass.
You never get past
straight
the
to
90s.
the
Yeah.
Or we even have a $10 prize for Fortnite skins or something like that.
You know what? Incentive. Are there any rules that keep us from giving like V-Bucks out to kids? Can we $20 Fortnite gift card? Thanks for passing your classes. Have a skinny.
I don't know, that gets a little devious, I feel like.
We'll see, like, you know, even at lunch, you know, well, you know, your options are, you know, school cafeteria lunch, but, you know, you can do the, like I said, you've got, you know, this month, everybody's passing their classes, so for lunch at school, instead of having the school cafeteria, you can come over to the esports room and all have pizza there for everybody and sodas
That party lunch.
and land party lunch. So anyway.
Speaking all over the place.
Maybe Tyler's got a suggestion.
Or
You're a middle school esports coach, you have high school that you're not at, and they struggle with staying eligible. How do you help motivate them or get them to keep, you know, hold them accountable?
You know, most of the time, just them not being able to compete. You'll have an esports class, whoever asked the question.
Yeah, but you know what middle school knows that high school is
Because I've had some before where like, that would be in my esports class, I'm like, oh, it's free game Friday. And they're back there in the back,
Yeah.
having to do work, so.
Yeah, that's what I told them, like on our practice, the days that we're actually practicing, if they're failing math class, they're sitting next to me doing their, you know, like I'll pull up there and see what's missing in their assignments. Oh, they're missing, they got 3 zeros. Well, guess what? Until you get those 3 zeros turned in.
I would also say if you have the capability, like I know at our school, we have an app on our phone where we can call parents without it showing our actual phone number, because I don't give my phone number to any parent. Letting them know that they have an F, but this is the reason why, because the kids are just going to go, I don't know, I turned those in, the teacher hadn't done it yet. Be like, I've talked with the history teacher, and these 3 things he has not turned in, that's why he's done it. Usually that'll speed up the process.
Right.
Which I guess, if you're not at the high school, there's a high school kid on the esports team.
Yeah.
So you would not have access to the number. I'm sure somebody is.
Yeah, that guy was.
He can get access to the number.
Remember Michelle Buchanan did us. Melissa Buchanan.
She might have been.
Well, any other questions or? Guess we can hit the road.
All that's left is the hands-on
Yeah, there's some hand